Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Inspire and Move podcast. Today, we are in the home studio. Me, myself, and
Matt Aruda.
Woo woo.
Woo woo.
And Video Matt and Sadie and Riley. We got our Glossy.
Definitely going to hear some dogs in the background at some point for sure.
Yeah, because we're recording this right around dog dinner time.
Yeah.
So we were playing with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. Sadie just letting me know. Okay, so we got so much amazing feedback from some of our recent episodes that Matt and I recorded together, all about starting before you're ready, assuming the role before you're ready, and why action is so important when it comes to growing. And whether it is in the corporate space, you work for someone else, or your own world of being an entrepreneur and building your business either solo or with a team. So we wanted to bring you more value, more episodes around those similar topics. So today we're going to be talking about how action creates identity, which you might be listening to that and being like, wait, question mark? What does that mean? But really kind of understanding that you don't necessarily become confident and then go and take the action, because you could be waiting a really long time. It is so important to take action, put those reps in, and then you build that confidence as a result of that. And this has also been something that has come up in the 6-week Visibility Accelerator program that I'm running right now, and I am obsessed with.
It's really good.
I'm obsessed with it. I just love it. And the women in the program are incredible. And the speakers that we've had so far have also been incredible.
Yeah, hell of a value.
And the first one that we welcomed to the program was the one and only Lori Harder. The one and only
Yes.
Lori Harder.
I never heard her.
And one of the most profound
Incredible.
lessons that Lori shared on her guest speaker call was the term more at-bats and putting those reps in, which you and I do talk a lot about in life, in our own business, but also in our episodes together here on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to more at-bats, that really is just taking more consistent action. And consistency is also one of my favorite words that I use so frequently, whether it's in the walls of Benchmark or in the Visibility Accelerator with one-on-one coaching clients. We use it in MCM all the time in our accountability coaching and here in the topics that we talk about on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that consistent action is going to naturally help you build more confidence.
I think choosing action, it's almost like, this reminds me of the happiness to success equation, right? Where so many people think it's one way, one feeds the other, when the proven reality over and over again, it's actually the other way that proves the others. So, in this case, the way, or I should say in the happiness case, a lot of people think, once you reach that level of success, whatever that is for you, then it warrants you feeling a level of happiness. You finally made it, whatever it is, and now you're allowed to feel happy. Where the reality is, it comes the other way around. It's when you are happy, when you choose happiness, you find success, you attract success. And that's no different than what we're talking about here, where you take the action, but that's only after you have the confidence, and that is what allows you to take the action. You typically don't take action without having a form of confidence therein, and it's that ability to switch from doing and not doing, even if it's just a small step, but it's that idea of saying, I'm going to do it, that becomes a domino effect. It throws over the momentum of a million other things after it, but it starts with the first one.
Absolutely. And I think even that helps you build the identity, and how identity. And it's so interesting too when we think of like back in our childhood, trying to understand like who we are and who are you going to be friends with. And then we grow up and like, what are we going to do when we go to school? Who are we going to be? Who we're going to become? What does that look like from a professional standpoint? And so fast forward now, maybe you are an entrepreneur. And this is something I want to tie in even to what we're talking about in the Visibility Accelerator. And so I'm going to use social media as an example of showing up online. That for a lot of people, that could be really scary. And putting in the consistency and putting those reps in that maybe starts with, all right, I'm gonna post my first story. And it's gonna be a story of my dogs. And then maybe it's a photo of like me and my dogs. And then you graduate to like a talking to camera story and posting in your feed, posting reels, posting carousels. And that confidence is built through putting those reps in and shaping that identity of who it is that you are online. Who do you serve? How do you help them? And crafting your messaging. And even looking at that one layer further, that your identity online, how does that also connect to your offers? Who are you offering to? Who are you selling to? And maybe you also need to refine those offers. I feel like I'm still in that phase, and you and I have been talking about this a lot because of my accelerator program, that I was so excited and passionate to create this, but then also feel like I think I need to have something to quote unquote sell them after to continue them on this journey, because I believe that all these women are creating this exceptional version of themselves, of their identity, and I want to be able to nurture them and help them along the way. And so it's so interesting to be able to learn real time for my own identity as, quote unquote, Coach Allie
Hmm.
and visibility coach Allie, that I'm in this real time experience of what it is that I'm even talking about.
Well, I think even the idea of them creating a form of an identity that either they are stepping further into or finding for the first time, especially through your Visibility Accelerator program, where they're able to find this identity came or has come on the heels of them choosing to be a part of this program in the first place, taking the action,
Hmm.
right? And having that action being the key step to allow them to create the next step and so on and so forth. Part of what we see so often in what we do with MCM as accountability coaches, in addition to mindset and health coaches as well. But the one thing we hear over and over again, almost on a weekly basis, especially as it pertains to things like social media creation, if you aren't in that world, but you know that no matter what industry you're in, it's an important part of what you do. And how often do we hear that people are feeling stuck in that, where they don't know what to do, how to make the first step in the way of where's my inspiration, where's my motivation? I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, or if I have the confidence enough to be facing the camera, any of those things. We hear every version of that
Every week.
every single week. And I think the part that we need to make a little bit clearer than not is it's not that they're necessarily stuck because they don't know what to do per se. They do know what to do. They see it all around them.
Hmm.
People, whether they're in their circle or otherwise, they're stuck because they're just not doing it. And I know that's almost too simplistic to even think, well, of course, Matt, if they're not doing it, then they're not getting it. It's true. Yes. But what's stopping them from just doing it? Nobody really gives a shit how great your reel has been filmed. You don't need a professional videographer, sorry, Matt, or a photographer, sorry, Matt, if you are just starting out and growing your business, right? Like, I think there's absolutely a time for that to be dialed in and for that to be the next level of what you do. But as a means of finding the confidence to continue that growth and to hit the levels that you're meant to hit, you have to start almost messy, right?
I was just going to say, like, messy is better than perfect.
Yeah.
And messy can absolutely equate to being done and complete. So instead of just being the person that sits on your phone and has 6 hours of screen time every day, but you're doom scrolling. Now, I also, just as an adjacent little side note here, sometimes I feel like I scroll actually for inspiration, because I have seen so many things that I want to then recreate for my own feed that actually ends up performing really well. So I feel like doom scrolling is such a dark way of referring to that. There's also like inspirational scrolling that we'll call it. But instead of just doing that for hours on end, perhaps you're able to then do that for like 1 hour and create content for 3 hours and also buy back some of your time.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so I love that we're on this topic of course, taking action, and certainly when it comes to social media and taking that action before you're ready. And I think that even comes down to like a belief system too, that we can get. And you teed me up perfectly for this part of the conversation when we talked about, or you said, people overthink, and like I'm guilty of that. I also overthink, but we see that a lot in our community with the mastermind and who we coach. And so sometimes, very often, we cannot have a belief system. We can have the imposter syndrome. So maybe that's an opportunity to borrow the belief from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And our friends and mentors have taught us that. And I think that is still important that Matt and I can sit here teaching you guys this, who are all listening and watching, but don't don't be fooled that Matt and I also need to borrow the belief, whether it's from each other, and that's super powerful when you can have a partner that will kick you back in the game or cheer you on when you are doubting your own belief system. That's some content that I love consuming from Alex and Layla Hermosi. Layla especially will talk about that, with having a partner that will always choose you and will always cheer you on, but being able to borrow a belief from somebody else when you don't have it. And that's when masterminds are so powerful, because you could go in there and just say, this is, what I'm struggling with, or is this a silly idea? Or can you help me reframe this? Can you help me clarify my offer, price it? The list goes on, whatever you might need. But being able to have the ability to borrow that belief and then still be able to take action
Mm-hmm.
and act on it.
Yeah, masterminds are almost like having a room full of business consultants,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're doing it in a way that's typically more fun, and you're doing it as a group, so you're able to jam out on each other's long-term and short-term plans, for that matter, as to how and where you get there. But mastermind is another really great example of choosing to do something before the confidence sets in, right? Like there's plenty of times, most recently, you and I have been to a mastermind where we walked in there thinking, we have no idea what the hell we're here to actually ask for this time around. And there was a lack of confidence of knowing where or what the next step was within those walls for the next 72 hours or whatever it was going to be. But as soon as we got in there, and you leave yourself open to have the conversations and to hear the feedback and to be able to jam out with these quote unquote consultants that are in the room, it opens up a lot of eyes. It clears up a lot of lanes for you to potentially choose that you didn't know were even once available to you, or at least wasn't clear that those lanes were there. But that confidence to then go and do whatever it is that we went to go and or are still going to try and do 72 hours later. We're in the midst of doing some of it now, for goodness sake. All of that gets to move at a quicker speed because you chose to take the action of being in those kinds of places, surrounded by those kinds of like-minded people in the first place.
Hey, girlfriend, I want to tell you something I am genuinely so excited about, because I'll be there and I want you to be there with me. On May 21st in Brooklyn, New York, I'm joining an incredible lineup of speakers at the $1 Million Personal Brand Workshop, hosted by Jess Williamson and designed for ambitious women who are ready to stop being the best kept secret in their industry and start building their empire. We're talking advanced positioning strategies, real conversations about how $1 million businesses are actually built, and in-room implementation so you leave with a real plan, not just a head full of inspiration. Only 200 women in the room. It's intimate, intentional, and powerful. Head to the details in my show notes to secure your ticket, and I can't freaking wait to see you in New York. And I think I shared this probably on one of our last episodes together when we were talking about taking action, how I had committed to hosting my first ever masterclass, aka a webinar, as part of sharing and launching the Visibility Accelerator program. I had never done a webinar before, but you encouraged me, and I borrowed the belief from you because you believed in me. And I have learned so much about webinars from our Mentor Collective Mastermind community that I thought, okay, how hard can it be? And I was in with like the last 24 hours before the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I created my deck.
I remember.
And like you served me dinner at my desk,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked late into the evening, which I think also speaks to probably a lot of us or how we do complete certain tasks. And that felt exciting, down to the wire, but also nerve-wracking. And I crushed it. But just more so the idea of like taking that messy action that I'd never done it before, felt a little scary. I definitely had imposter syndrome. So then I borrowed belief from you because you believed in me and I've seen other people in our mastermind community do it. So let me take the action and do it and
Mm-hmm.
have that offer ready.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, within, gosh, 24 hours, you were 2/3 of the way sold out.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
maybe 3/4 sold out, without exaggeration. Really, I think you had to actually add more spots than you anticipated when all was said and done.
And even the conversion rate from how many people were on the webinar to how many enrolled was very, very high.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And I love just sitting here sharing this with all of you. I actually have a lot of gratitude for that moment because look how I can now share this with you as a teachable moment and experience and story that I just did something for the very first time at 40 years old. And it was in my business. And now I've launched my first ever program and I've had a blast doing everything.
Yeah, but you know what I would say is, you doing that in this case, talking about the idea of, for the first time ever, doing a online, oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank on.
Program?
No,
Webinar.
thank you. Gosh, I kept on calling it a masterclass, which it was, but webinar. Let's call it a webinar for right now,
Masterclass
because
just feels like such an elevated version.
100%. So you deciding to do a webinar for the first time. Sure, the idea of doing a webinar per se was the first time you chose to do that. But this was hardly the first rep of you choosing to do something you haven't done before, something hard, or something that you would hope is going to equate into something that is bigger than what you anticipated. But you didn't know. You don't know what the end result is going to be in the first hour, first 10 minutes of you creating a webinar, let alone being on the webinar itself. You don't know that. But what does not change is all of the mindset work prior to that, in the understanding and believing that you putting in this action first and putting in this rep again of something that is not comfortable, that is not familiar. This isn't the first time that you felt that in a million different walks of your life, whether it be business, personal, different relationships, financial, all kinds of things where you just had the belief behind the why you were doing it, but not necessarily the evidence already in front of you. The evidence came after the fact, after you took the action that, oh yeah, I should be doing this. Of course I should be doing this, because here are all these people who are putting their hand up saying that they need what I'm providing or what I'm going to promise to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, and they've been the benefactors of it accordingly, right?
Well, then you're collecting the social proof. So then for whatever is that next phase, then I'll have the social proof.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I also wanted to talk about just when it comes to, borrowing belief is also thinking about who are you in your future? What is that future self of you? And borrowing belief from that. So I've been talking a lot this year, not so much here on the podcast or even online, but to you and to some of our friends at the Elite Entrepreneur Mastermind, of how I've really wanted to try to embrace more of a CEO level energy this year. We're coming up to year 7 of owning Benchmark Fitness. We are really looking to scale in different ways, doing things that we've never done before,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's hiring different roles, whether that's another location,
Services,
yeah.
partnerships, it goes on and on.
And that to me feels like I need to embrace a different level for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I want that to unlock different income levels and life experiences. So I am trying to train myself to operate from different energy and mindset when it comes to making decisions and taking action. So I think that is also something that you guys could take away from this and think like, okay, yeah, what is the future self of me? What does she or he look like? And if you also have an amazing partner that you can borrow belief from, gold. But also, if you are flying solo, fly solo confidently, because you are going to take those action steps and put those reps in that builds more confidence, and think about that future self.
Yeah, I mean, every action is effectively a vote towards the person that you want to be,
And
right?
small actions too, like they compound over time.
100%. In fact, I had somebody say this to me just the other day in our accountability discussion with our MCM group, saying how they had a whole list of priorities that needed to be done in the course of the next 7 days. We got to those 7 days, they had come and gone, and out of the list of, call it 8 things that they wanted to do, they achieved 2 of them, and it felt like a failure to them because they only got done 2 of the 8. And then I reframed it and said, Good Lord. If every single person had 2 needle moving things done every week, that would be over 100 needle moving things at the end of the year. And tell me how you move the needle 100 different times and you aren't significantly further down the road from when you had started 1 year earlier. And it just unlocks a certain way of, not just from a gratitude perspective of knowing that you put yourself out there that many times, that you had that many reps, but it then becomes the empirical evidence to you that you doing it isn't just doing it for doing its sake. You doing it is becoming a closer and closer version of who you want to be ultimately down the road.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, first of all, you're such a great coach. I love hearing stories like
Thanks.
that. I think even in the world of, I have 2 perspectives, which is not going to come as a surprise to you, the 2 directions I'm going to go. One is social media and one is the gym.
Okay.
My 2 favorite examples. It's very on brand for me.
Mm-hmm.
For social media, it's looking at your consistency when it comes to posting. And this is so directly in line with what's happening in the Visibility Accelerator that I am seeing the numbers, like we're seeing the little Instagram data of the numbers increasing, whether it's the follower count, which, yes, I get is more of a vanity metric, but also the engagement, how long people are consuming the girls' content, they're increasing. And it's because like every week I assign them every week I assign them homework. So they are doing it consistently and posting around the weekly homework. So by doing that social media posting action consistently, they are seeing a growth. And then that growth will lead to more opportunities, more connections, building your network, more money,
Building your confidence.
and building your confidence.
Right. I mean, you have all these tangible things. Yes, like the growth as far as what the actual number count is and potential increase in income and partnerships and all that is stuff that is tangible. But what about just the fact that they're growing as a person with the ability of doing something that they didn't once do as easily only a few weeks ago? Like literally a few weeks ago, not years. Like they are becoming different people week over week, and not necessarily different to their family, different in their business, which again speaks to who they might want to be long-term as their future self. That's what you're impacting on a week-to-week basis.
And I love seeing it. So it brings me so much joy.
Mm-hmm.
And then from a fitness standpoint, small actions, small habits compound over time. So you have someone that's maybe never gone to the gym before. And we have some people in there. Even I look at some of our personal training clients that are new to the gym and lifting weights and seeing the progress of, their form, the weights they're lifting, but most of all, their confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a loving joke in the gym, especially more with like the female trainers and female members, that's some of the biggest wins when you see a female come into the gym in like, she works out in a hoodie, and then it's a long sleeve shirt, then it's a short sleeve shirt, then it's a tank top, then it's a crop t-shirt, and then a sports bra.
Gangster.
That is the mecca growth. And that has come from taking those consistent action steps
Yep.
of showing up in the gym and doing the work,
Yeah.
building that confidence, and seeing that growth and progress at the other end.
It's like everything else, right? She didn't just decide, or you can use this girl wearing a sports bra example, but like I'm talking about, guys in a tank top. How about that, right? Like there's that too. Guys in shorts. Like how many guys do we know that exclusively work out in pants, never show their legs?
Yeah.
Intentionally are hiding those stems. Now,
Not you.
not me, loud and proud.
No, yeah.
I get chirped for my 5-inch shorts all day
5-inch
long.
shorts from Matt Aruda. You should see his calves though and his quads.
Yeah, absolutely. Got nothing to hide here. But my point is the idea of you deciding that you want to start a workout routine, you want to eat healthier, you want to be a better leader, better spouse, whatever it is. That decision being made one time isn't actually growth, right? It's the idea of reinforcing it on a daily basis in any of those forums that we're talking about, whether it be in the gym, in the workplace, at home, combination of them all. Real growth and confidence to be built thereafter comes from reinforcing these decisions, taking these reps daily. Otherwise, all you've done was say something once that sounded good and then filed it away, never to be seen again. If you want to be taken seriously, not just obviously through your community, but if you yourself want to take yourself seriously, then you have to prove to yourself that you're willing to do what it takes every day. And it doesn't need to be massive steps. You're right. They could be small steps, but done over time, it's compound interest, baby. That kind of stuff looks after itself and doubles before you know it, which then doubles again before you know it. And all of a sudden you look back and think to yourself, how am I sitting on this mountain of confidence? Because it's compounded, because you've added to it every single day.
I love that. All right, so kind of tying a bow on this, and I've loved this whole conversation. So if we were kind of looking at how you can be like next level you, and I don't know about you guys listening and watching, but I am so here for next level me like all the time. I am so passionate about my own expansion. And so what would next level you, what would that next level version of you look like? And what would next level you do? Like, what are those habits? What are those habits that you can compound over time? And even if that means, go for a walk every day, drink more water every day, eat more vegetables, send the follow-up DM, post consistently. I challenge you to think about that, and maybe you're in a position where you can write something down. But I think that is a great thing to take away and think of.
I think people need to realize that the gap that we're talking about here between where you're at and where you want to get to isn't a lack of knowledge. You know what to do. The gap here is the lack of action. So just deciding to do it and taking the first step. And I don't mean taking the first step like, I think I want to start running and tomorrow I'm going to do a half marathon. It's not what I'm talking about. Not what I'm talking about. Make the decision, do a small step of action towards reinforcing that decision. And then tomorrow, do it again. Next day, do it again. That's where that gap becomes non-existent all of a sudden because the knowledge is linked to the action and it's repeatable.
Yeah. And if you guys need support in this, let's connect because Matt and I have both opened up coaching spots.
Yes, we have.
Oh, which is so exciting.
Yeah, we're working with a couple of awesome human beings right now that I love. I love helping them. My God, they're great conversations. They're great humans. And when you unlock something that is like that aha moment, or they get back to you 2-3 days later, even same day after you get off a call with them, and they're like, that really hit, or this is going to make a difference. It's it changes my day, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so if you are someone that is looking to expand, you need support with your performance, your branding, we want to help you. And if you need even more support than that, well, then come join us inside the Mentor Collective Mastermind.
That's a real
party.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it really goes down. Right?
It literally does. We do have a monthly happy hour call.
We do have a monthly
for
happy hour.
More connection and networking.
In addition to half a dozen other remarkable professionals in their own fields of genius, right? Whether it's legal, marketing, social, AI, leadership and hiring, you and I, it's a lot going on in there. And it's remarkable to see what people have done in month 1 to like say month 3 there. And
it's also
the
just
growth.
Such an incredible program. So
yeah, it is.
We'd love to work with you.
Yeah, bottom line.
Come find us.
Just work with us. How about that? Just
come work with
friggin'
us.
right, man. Let's just figure this out. Come work with us. We'll guide you in the right direction, I promise.
Thank you so much for being here, for listening, watching. We love you guys. If you love this show, share it with a friend. Maybe share it in your Instagram stories. And if you really want to be a person that we extra love, just leave a 5-star rating and review. That helps shows like this grow. And until next time, we will see you again soon.
Take action.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.